If you're thinking about buying a pre-built gaming PC, please watch this video first. I'm going to share my personal experience with some pre-builts that have come through here, as well as a bunch of clips from Gamers Nexus that I put together with him tearing down a bunch of pre-builts and reviewing them. In no way am I going to say don't buy from any of these companies. More or less, this is what you can expect or what could happen. So, mainstream pre-built gaming PCs. I'm talking about CyberPower, iBuyPower, CLX, Alienware, etc. These have become very popular throughout the years. They can be purchased on Amazon or Best Buy, Walmart, or even their personal websites where you can customize everything and build it just the way you want it, right? So we had a CLX computer come in from a customer that wanted a GPU upgrade. Initially, we turned it on and checked everything out, and the CPU was running super hot at 60 degrees Celsius at idle. This was a 5600G. I also noticed the PSU was installed upside down, in my opinion. The intake fan was faced up, drawing in warm air from the inside of the computer. The only time I think a PSU should be installed this way is if you're going to put the computer on carpet, which in that case I don't recommend. Put it on a hard surface or a desk. Some of you may argue this is fine, it doesn't matter. That's fine, you can disagree with me all you want, but go on Reddit and other forums to see what the general consensus is, as long as the case is set up to allow you to do that. In this situation, the case was designed to install the PSU face down, so we feel like it really should have been installed that way. Within the law of thermodynamics, this is just not efficient to draw in warm air. Now, some of you may note that the cases we build in, it draws in cool air in the PSU, but it exhausts it back into the case. Where this may look inefficient, we set up the case fans to exhaust that hot air as quickly as possible, and our results are amazing. So back to this CLX computer. So the CPU is running way too hot, right? So we take the CPU off and we pretty much have to pry it off of the CPU cooler. This usually happens when cheap thermal paste is used and it just dries up and becomes like glue. So we cleaned everything up and applied some Arctic MX4 thermal paste, and the idle temperatures dropped down to 30 degrees Celsius, which is very acceptable. Another customer came in back in December with a computer they bought from Redux with an i9 and a 4090. The computer simply wasn't displaying any video on the monitor. So we quickly troubleshot it down to the GPU simply was not working. And we put a known good GPU in the computer and everything ran fine. But when we got into it, we noticed that the XMP profile was not set. And then when Windows booted up, it appeared as if this was the first time it was starting up. So we think this company probably didn't test this computer before it shipped out. In fact, there was a card that came with the computer that had check marks saying that their quality assurance had checked to make sure everything was set up and drivers were updated, BIOS was updated, Windows was good, everything was running. That just simply wasn't true from what we could see. But that's not the worst part. He went to RMA that GPU and it basically took like 3 months and a bunch of emails and them basically forgetting about him. Where there was some supply chain issues with the 4090 at the time, there was just a lack of communication between the company and the customer. That seems to be very common with a lot of the big builders out there. They seem to have built up their company too big and they didn't match their quality assurance and their customer service to support the amount of computers they build. That's just what it seems like. Now for Alienware. This one, I'm going to go against what I said earlier and just say do not buy this one, please. For real. These computers are not good at all and they are extremely overpriced. They use the slowest memory, generic power supplies, proprietary motherboards, very difficult to upgrade, very difficult to take the cases apart if you want to upgrade it, and terrible thermals. These computers run very hot. Some of their newer cases have gotten better for airflow, but especially 2-3 years ago, they were really choked off. And whatever you do, it's not fair to compare what you can get a CyberPower or iBuyPower PC compared to a company like us or some of our friends that we work with, as we just use more expensive power supplies, more expensive motherboards. We're not making more money. In fact, they're the ones that are making more money off of you. with their super cheap power supplies and motherboards and components. And a lot of times their components aren't matched well, where, you might have a CPU bottleneck, or you got a GPU that's way overpowered for the CPU that's on it. There's usually something that is going to hold you back, no matter what, really, but especially with a lot of pre-builts out there. I'm so for real about it. If you're like, yeah, but I don't want to buy a computer from you, I'm like, that's fine. I'll find a company to buy one from. For example, my number one recommendation is Omni-Ray Electronics. He builds great computers with top-of-the-line components and competitive pricing. He also pays very meticulous attention to wire management and matching the right components to work well together. I'll throw the link to his channel below. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen with all pre-builts. There's a lot of really good success stories out there, and in fact, me myself, I bought a CyberPower PC years ago for my wife for a workstation because the price was just unbeatable. I couldn't even build a computer for anywhere near what they were asking. And I bought it off Amazon, which has a great return policy. So if it was a piece of junk when I got it, it wouldn't have been a real issue returning it and getting my money back. In addition, both us and Omni-Ray Electronics do free PC giveaways periodically, so you could always look out for that and get a free one and not pay anything. So what I'm really excited about is to show you a bunch of clips that I put together of Gamers Nexus, where he's gone through and reviewed a ton of pre-builts. I just put some of them together to kind of show you a summary of the things that he's discovered during these reviews. Now, he's a much bigger channel with a lot more experience than me, so please pay attention to the things that he has to say as well. It may be real helpful as you may be deciding if you should buy a pre-built or who you should buy it from. So without further ado, here it goes.